loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina, otherwise known as Sinfulpluto, and today we are doing a pick a card for this Mercury retrograde in Gemini that is coming up on May 29th, I believe. So I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. We're going to be talking all about what is going to be happening for you, what is coming up for you this retrograde, and we're going to pull for some advice as well, and possibly, if I remember, bitch, we'll pull for some signs that might be coming through or planetary influences that might be coming through for you this retrograde. So yes, grubra. If it resonates with you, let me know in the comments down below. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so at sinfulpluto.com. Oh my god, you can see my dog. She's so precious. Love her. And yes, if you want to follow me on social media, you can do so on Twitter at Sinfulpluto. And like, share, subscribe if you want to. And then yes, so I'm gonna film a clip of the cards of the piles, and then you can choose from there. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it.
Hey guys, it's Nina from the future, the past, I don't know. But anyways, so we have 5 piles that you can choose from. On the left, starting with amethyst, the second pile is lapis lazuli, the middle or the third pile is yellow aventurine, the fourth is a green aventurine worry stone, and the fifth all the way on the right is Dalmatian jasper. So take a minute to take a deep breath, to connect with your guides, your ancestors, whatever you believe in, and intuitively pick out which pile or piles resonate with you, and then you can go ahead and skip to the timestamps that I will be leaving down below for your pile. Alright, enjoy!
Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. Of course, if you chose this pile, you chose the amethyst. So let's go ahead and get started with first the tarot. We have the 4 of Cups here, we have Judgment, we have the 3 of Cups reversed, and we have the Sun. Okay, so what's going on with you this retrograde? It looks like up until this point, you may have been feeling really isolated in life. Of course, we're in a pandemic, so granted, many of you may be feeling really isolated, but for others of you, it may be a lot more self-imposed isolation, if you will. Social, especially like in a social way where you're just like not really letting people in. Whenever someone does try to get close to you, you either push them away or you lose interest very quickly or something along those lines. It's just kind of, there's this sense of like a looming cloud that is just like over you at all times for some reason. And with that 4 of Cups as well, there's kind of this vibe of like you possibly feeling really rejected, even though people are trying to reach out to you, trying to make a connection with you, but there's just like this internal thing of like, people don't want to talk to me, people don't actually like me, they don't actually want to get to know me. Like that's the kind of narrative that you may have been selling to yourself, that your mind may have been selling to you up until this point. And so it looks like this retrograde is kind of a time for reevaluation, right? Because we do have that Judgment card. It's an awakening, right? And that's exactly kind of what you need, is an awakening. You basically needing to open your eyes to see that you are not actually all that alone. You are not actually all that misunderstood or rejected. You know, granted, I'm sure many of you have actually been rejected, and maybe that has stopped you from putting in the effort to reach out to people. And I wonder if for some of you this retrograde, you have been feeling very ostracized from your social groups. Maybe you have actually been putting the effort to get close to the people in your life, to the people who you would consider as your friends, right? With that 4 of Cups and that 3 of Cups reversed, I just get this vibe of you possibly, for some of you, feeling very isolated and ostracized and rejected from your social groups, from your friend groups, like the friend groups that are already established in your life. Maybe they just kind of pick on you for one reason or another, or they just kind of go out of their way to make you feel like you're weird or something like that. And so I feel that with this retrograde, whatever the case may be, there's a sense of awakening. For some of you, in terms of those who are already dealing with established friend groups. With this Judgment card and with this Sun card, I kind of get the vibe of you no longer being willing to tolerate their mistreatment of you and their disrespect of you, and you possibly going out of your way to finally meet new people. Or, you know, because with retrogrades, they're all about reevaluation and reassessment. So and might not necessarily be that a lot of action is taken during retrograde, but you might be coming to a lot of realizations in terms of your friend group, and possibly even cutting off people who don't treat you with the respect that you deserve, and you possibly breaking out of like this mental trap that you are undesirable, or that no one wants to be close to you, no one wants to be your friend, or no one wants to form a deeper connection with you or anything like that. And with this Sun card here, I get this vibe of you just like really reconnecting with yourself, reconnecting with who you are, reconnecting with just like your identity, like because the Sun, that's like your identity, that's like the way in which you present yourself to the world almost, right? So your personal identity, your self-identity. And so I feel like you're really reconnecting with that part of you, this Mercury retrograde. And I feel like you are becoming a lot more lit up. You are becoming a lot more confident. I feel like you are letting go of things, of people, of situations that have made you feel lesser than, that have made you feel as though you don't belong in one way or another. Maybe some of you are Capricorns or Aquarians who are watching this. So yes, that's really cool. That's really exciting. I just get this vibe of like you stepping out of your shell, you stepping out of your cave, and just no longer dimming yourself down for other people, because I feel like you may have done that for others. I feel like you may have shrunk yourself down in order to be accepted by these friend groups. But the thing about these friend groups is that they're either based on very superficial traits, like they get along because of superficial things, or they just like aren't like your people. Like these aren't the people that you want to be shrinking yourself down for, because they're just so focused on different things, or they just have fundamentally different values than you, or they just might be very judgmental. Like you don't want to shrink yourself down for people who don't even understand you, who are possibly even committed to misunderstanding you, or who want to step on you, step all over you because it makes them feel better, because you know that stems from their own unpacked insecurities and wounds and whatnot. So that's kind of what it looks like for you here, group one, is just like this sense of empowerment and realizing who is actually your friend and who is not actually your friend, and kind of you possibly rewriting the narrative that you tell yourself, and you stepping out of any sort of complacency, stepping out of any sort of I guess like victim mindset, if you will, and stepping towards what you want, and no longer shrinking yourself down for other people, no longer shrinking yourself down in order to please or to impress other people. I feel like there's just this grand realization that there is so much more that you could be doing for yourself, and there is so much more to yourself that you may have yet to explore because you've been so focused on other people and trying to make them happy. So that's really cool. It's really exciting. I think that's an awesome like realization to come to, this Mercury retrograde. So yes, next we have the Royal You, which to me basically talks a lot about self-care. It talks about you putting yourself first and almost like finally putting yourself on the pedestal that you put your other people on, and realizing how royal you are, how just awesome, and how much you have to offer. Like this reminds me so much of the Sun card, of just like you stepping into your own power, stepping into your own light, and seeing how much you have to offer to the world and how much you have to offer for yourself. I feel that with this Mercury retrograde, there is no more tolerating lesser than. There is no more kind of settling for less than what you deserve. And I feel like you are going to be demanding for people to treat you with the respect that you deserve. And if they are unwilling to adjust, then that is your sign to let them go and to cut them out, or to create some sort of boundary so that you are not in direct contact with them all of the time, and that you don't have to deal with their BS all of the time. You know what I mean? Like, I just get this vibe of like, oh, you're not going to treat me like royalty. Oh, you're not going to kiss my feet. Okay, that's fine. Bye. Like, I have other people who will do that for me. And I'm going to find other people who are willing to do that for me, because clearly you have different values than I do, and I'm not going to bend over backwards in order to kiss your dirty feet. Like, I'm not going to do that. And then we have seeing beyond. So this to me, again, this just looks like a lot of you seeing the deep-rooted potential that is within you, but also finally coming to terms with the people that you have surrounded yourself with at this point. I feel like before, you may have tried to make a lot of excuses for people in your life, whether it was socially, you know, like in your social group, whether it was romantically, platonically, at school, whatever the case may be, at your job. I feel like you have made so many excuses for other people and have given people the benefit of the doubt time and time and time again, and it has always bit you in the ass in one way or another. It had always backfired on you in one way or another. And I feel like with this Mercury retrograde, you are finally really coming to terms with the truth that you may have been avoiding, or maybe even the truth that you just simply did not see. Maybe before you kind of, again, you put these people on a pedestal and thought like, oh, they're so great, they're so cool, they have all of these wonderful things, they must be good people, blah, 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 blah. And now I think that rose-tinted lens, those rose-tinted glasses are coming off, and you're like, oh, these people aren't actually all that great. Yeah, they may do some kind acts every once in a while, but that doesn't override the shitty qualities that they have as human beings. Like, these people are fundamentally like not that great, or they just simply don't match my energy, and they don't reciprocate the type of affection or love that I need and that I'm looking for. Like, these people don't cater to me at all, and I feel like I'm the one who is getting the short end of the stick in maintaining a relationship with these people. I feel like there's just like a lot of seeing the reality of the situation. I'm so sorry if you hear sirens. Maybe that's confirmation. But that's kind of what that looks like here. It's just like seeing beyond the veil, seeing beyond the rose-tinted lenses, and seeing true intentions. That's what it feels like for you this retrograde. Like, you are seeing the true intentions of people, whether you like it or not. And initially it might be really uncomfortable, because it's like, damn, like, I've known these people for X amount of time, and like, I thought that they were all these great people. I thought that they were like, the image that I had of them was actually a reflection of who they are. And like, now that reflection is being shattered, and you're like, god damn, like, what's going on here? So you might be questioning your reality a little bit, but you know, questioning is good, because with questioning, you reach different and new conclusions, and you get to see things differently. You get to reach new and different perspectives. So like, that's the good thing about retrograde. That's what Mercury retrograde is all about. So that's awesome. And then we have willing release. So basically for you, pile one, again, like, you are letting go of a lot of people and things and situations, maybe places and environments that don't serve you, that don't do anything for you, that don't necessarily reciprocate to you, or they further perpetuate this belief that you are not worthy of like love, or that you are not worthy of true friendship, that you are somehow defective, or whatever the case may be. Like, letting go of people and situations that just kind of hold you back, and that make you feel like shit. That's literally what it is, that just make you feel like shit. So that's exciting. That's cool. We love that. And I think, what is this? It's like a little butterfly. Yeah. So it's transformation that you are going through with this Mercury retrograde. It's transformation, you know, and it might be uncomfortable. It might be a little bit painful at first, but ultimately I think that it'll be worth it for you. And by letting go of all of this baggage, of all these people, situations, like, you are creating space for new and better things. And you're allowing yourself the space to also figure out, like, what is it that you exactly value, and what do you want to receive within your interpersonal relationships? What is it that you want to what is the new cycle that you want to start? What type of love do you want to give, and what type of love do you want to receive? That kind of thing. So next we have, yes, walking away. Definitely this Mercury retrograde, you may be walking away from an old lifestyle, right? I kind of get the vibe of like, for some of you, I just get this vibe of like you living this very high-end New York, like rich girl lifestyle, and you're surrounded by people, by friends that you have known all your life, right? And you've grown up together and all of this, you go out all the time, you hang out all of the time, you've been through each other through thick and thin, blah, blah, blah. But that those friendships were based off of very superficial things. They were based, the friendship was maintained because you share the similarity of like, for example, like having a rich dad, or like it would look good if we hung out. Like it's kind of like superficial reasons as to why these friendships worked for so long, is that it benefited each person in a superficial way, but it wasn't all that fulfilling. It was very empty. And so I kind of see, and like obviously that type of scenario isn't going to apply to everyone, but that's kind of like the vibe that I get from this. It's like walking away from a certain lifestyle that just doesn't work for you anymore. Walking away from people that just aren't meant for you anymore. Like you have just outgrown each other, or you're growing in separate paths, and that is more than okay. So I see you kind of shutting that part of your life out, you know, like you had your time, you had your journey, you learned from it, you had your experiences, you have your knowledge, and you know, now it's time to go. So that's what it looks like here. And then we have a journey, again, just reiterating the whole thing of you basically packing up your bags and just moving elsewhere. Maybe some of you need to consider moving somewhere, like moving to a different environment. Maybe some of you need to consider or reassess the environment in which you are in. Is it good for you? Is it, what's the word? Does it produce good energy for you? Is it productive for you to continue to stay in this place, to stay in these relationships with these people, that type of thing? I just get this vibe of like you basically like, all right, this isn't working out for me, I'm just gonna go, and packing your bags and just seeing where life takes you. It kind of feels like there isn't necessarily a plan to where you're going or what you're gonna be doing, but you just know that you need to get out of here. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know where I'm gonna go, I don't know where I'm gonna stay, but I just know that this place, this relationship isn't gonna work out for me, so I'm just gonna dip and I'll figure it out on my way. You know what I mean? Just step by step figuring it out. So that's kind of that's the vibe that this journey card basically is giving me here. And then finally we have attachment. And I love the imagery of this card because we see like this girl like holding this mask, right? And we can assume that this is the mask that she wears. And so again, this Mercury retrograde is you coming to the realization of what mask you may have been wearing. What mask have you been wearing to please other people, to make them accept you, to make them love you, to make them validate you in some way? What version or what parts of yourself have you been hiding from the world because you feared rejection, because you feared not being accepted, or you feared being weird or ostracized, or whatever the case may be? And so I feel like this retrograde, you were learning to release those attachments. You were learning to release the mask that you think people want to see. And you were focusing on being your most authentic self. And there's going to be, oh my God, like there's going to be a part of you, or there might be, how do I say this? Like when you begin acting as your authentic self, there are probably going to be people who try to knock you down, and they're going to be like, yo, what the fuck? Why are you doing that? So weird. Like they're going to try to discourage you from being your most authentic self. And a part of you may be like, oh my God, you're right. Like I shouldn't be doing this. I should just like be the person that you think I should be. Don't allow yourself to continue to fall into that trap. Continue to be the version of yourself that you want to be, the person of yourself that feels most authentic to you, okay? And people might not like it at first, but over time, you will find the right people, you will attract the right people who appreciate you and your authentic self, and they are going to cherish you for being your authentic self. And they're gonna be like, oh my God, like, it's so cool that you do this. You are the person who has motivated me to be the person that I wanna be, rather than focusing on other people. Like, that creates a domino effect. People will admire you for being authentic. Of course, there are going to be haters, because there's no way to please everyone in the world, but you are also going to have people who admire you and respect you for doing the thing that not everyone is willing to do and able to do. So there's that, okay? Finally, we have the advice here. So we have repairing the veil, forgiveness. And then we have skywriting the fates. So in terms of advice, this to me kind of looks like basically what we've been talking about this entire time. You need to reconnect with yourself. This Mercury retrograde, you need to stitch yourself back up and to rip away things that don't serve you, that don't fit with your personality, that don't mesh with you, whether it's people, things, situations, hobbies, skills, whatever. And you need to reattach things that actually mean something to you, that are actually a part of you, that actually make you feel good, that actually make you feel really fulfilled. I just get this vibe that you have been so far disconnected from who you are because you've been trying to please other people, or you've been trying to portray some sort of image, right? Maybe you've been trying to make your parents happy. I feel like that needs to go, and I feel that there's just this need of you needing to be yourself again. And you are going to feel so much more whole once you do that. Of course, that is so much easier said than done. Of course, it is a journey. It's not something that is going to happen overnight, but granted, okay? Take baby steps and you will make the progress that is necessary for you. And you will see how happy you are once you do things that matter to you. Once you present yourself as the person that you want to be, okay? We only have one life. You know what I mean? Like, present your physical self as the one that makes you happiest. Don't worry about what other people want to see from you. Like, that doesn't matter. Other people don't matter. Like, they really don't. It's your body. You're the one who's going to be having this human experience in this body. Like, you are the one having that as your own. Now, other people aren't going to be experiencing what you experience. They're not going to have the thoughts that you have. So you might as well try to make yourself as comfortable as possible in this physical vessel that you are in, as long as you are on this earth. Do you know what I mean? So there's that. And then we have skywriting the fates. So this to me kind of just looks like as it is all within your hands to rewrite your faith, to rewrite the narrative that is in your head. It is all in your hands to rewrite your life path and to rewrite your life in general. Like, that is all within, like, you are the author of your own life. If there's something that you don't like, then do whatever it is in your control to change it. You know what I mean? Focus on what you can control, and if there's something that you don't like, if it's within your control, then do something about it. Make adjustments. You can erase, you can highlight, you can use cursive, do whatever you want. Like, you are more than allowed to rewrite your faith, to rewrite your life and the path that you take and the people that you meet. If there's someone that you don't want to be with for the rest of your life, by all means, cut them off. You know, instill a boundary with them. Like, it is all within your hands. You are so much more powerful than you give yourself credit for. So that is what I have for you. Some numbers that might be significant to you. So we have 16, that adds up to 1 plus 6, that's 7. So maybe the number 7 is significant to you. Maybe the number 9 is significant to you, with 36 here with the seeing beyond card, right? 3 plus 6 is 9. So 7, 9, 13, 4 plus 9 with this card. Again, with the 9, walking away. We have 2. We have 5, so 5 could be a significant number as well for you. 5 is also talking about adjustments and adaptability, so that could be something that comes up for you this retrograde. We also have, again, with the 9, we have a lot of 9s here, and 9s talk about completion. It talks about the ending of a cycles, and it talks about kind of like the vibe that I kind of get from it is like you stepping up to the plate and doing what you want to do. And almost like separating yourself from the rest of, like, kind of taking pride in being separated from the rest of the crowd and being very independent in that way and very unique in that way. There's that. And then finally we have 4 plus 9, that is 13. Wow, we have 2 49s. Wow, maybe the number 49 is significant to you some way. So what is that? That's 13, so 4. Number 4 could be significant to you with these 2 cards. So wait, is that 4 plus 9? That's 13. 1 plus 3, yeah, okay. Bitch, quick math, okay. So number 4 could be significant to you as well, which to me would be talking about building new foundations, possibly shattering the ones that no longer serve you. So that is what I have for you, group 1. I hope this resonates. I hope you were able to get something out of this. And with that being said, I will talk to you later. Bye. Hello, group 2. Welcome to your reading. Obviously, if you chose this group, you chose the Lapis Lazuli. She's really cute. We love her. So let's get right into your reading for what is coming for you this Mercury retrograde. So we have the Flower of Stones, otherwise known as the Queen of Pentacles. She's so cute. I love this deck so much. I'll be linking it down below if you are interested in this deck. It's called the Gentle Tarot. I love it so much. We have the Moon reversed. We have the 5 of Cups reversed. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. Okay, so right off the bat, what this looks like to me, group 2, is that a lot of suppressed feelings and emotions are coming to the surface. A lot of repressed feelings are coming to the surface, right? Because we have that Moon card, right? So anything that has been pushed under the surface, anything that has been pushed into your subconscious, anything that just hasn't been dealt with, anything that you are currently not aware of, maybe that you are in denial of, that's coming back to the surface. If there's any sort of unhealed wounds that need to be tended to, it kind of looks like that is basically coming to the forefront for you this Mercury retrograde. We're not surprised because that's what retrogrades are all about here. We have the 5 of Cups reversed right next to it. So this has a lot to do with, healing wounds that have yet to be mended. With the Flower of Stones, the Queen of Pentacles here, I really love the imagery of this Queen of Pentacles because we see her floating above the water, right? Trying to stay afloat in this water on this little log. She's so cute. And I love this because she is not fully submerged over this water. You know, she's trying to stay afloat. And so I wonder if for some of you up until this point, you have been in a very similar position in life where you know that there are certain underlying feelings that are just kind of bubbling underneath, but you just, for some reason, you know, shit happens. Sometimes it's difficult to deal with things, right? So we end up compartmentalizing. So I wonder if for some of you, those feelings are finally coming back to the surface and you are being fully submerged in your emotions and possibly any sort of unhealed wounds. And I don't mean to make that sound so scary. It shouldn't have to be so scary. I mean, obviously, if you're not someone who is used to feeling your feels, that can be like an overwhelming thing. It can feel very foreign, but granted, it can be very much to your advantage and you can learn a lot from it and you can grow a lot from it. So, you know, keep that in mind, okay? Don't try to reject it. But that's kind of what it looks like here, is like a lot of, you've been trying to stay afloat, you've been trying to stay happy is kind of what it looks like. You've been trying to stay happy. You've been trying to kind of be there for other people, and possibly you've been setting your emotions aside because you're like, there are just other and more important things to be dealing with right now. I cannot be catering to myself, right? Maybe you have been really focusing so much on taking care of other people. Maybe you are someone who is just naturally a nurturer. Maybe it makes you really happy to be there for other people and to hear when people are like, wow, thank you so much for helping me. Maybe that's something that just, you know, naturally you're like, that's just something that makes you very happy and makes you feel fulfilled and joyous. You know what I mean? If that's how you get your joy, awesome, perfect. You know, we love helping people, right? But in doing that, it kind of feels like you have set aside your emotions too much. You've put yourself on the back burner, and possibly you've ended up burning yourself out and trying to help other people because you're not catering to yourself. And so what it looks like here is you basically needing to cater to yourself. It looks like a lot of self-care is coming to the forefront. Maybe you really need to start slowing down this retrograde. Maybe this retrograde is pushing you to slow down. Maybe there might be inconveniences that come up in your life that really force you to sit down and to reflect on your emotions and to reflect on what you are not currently dealing with, what you possibly even refuse to deal with. What is it that you are refusing to deal with, or just trying to push aside, like trying to run away from? Is there something that you are running away from, and what is it, and why are you trying to run away from it in the first place? And then we have this Ace of Pentacles reversed. So, and with the Five of Cups reversed here, maybe the repressed emotions that you have been dealing with, or that are going to surface, should I say, during this retrograde, relate to feelings of rejection, relate to feelings of feeling misunderstood, to maybe feeling like just no one gets it, no one gets me, people just always take advantage of me, they always talk to me, or they always come to me when they need something, but they don't focus on me. They never ask me if I'm okay. They never ask me how I'm doing, that type of thing. So if that's kind of what's coming to the surface, if that's kind of what you're dealing with, then reflect on the fact that you don't even do the same for yourself. You're not even making space for yourself, if that's the case. How can you expect other people to be there for you when you're not even there for you? When you're not instilling boundaries for other people? When you are not raising certain expectations or standards, or bringing it to awareness to other people, in a way that is kind and compassionate, and be like, hey man, like it'd be nice if you could ask how I'm doing, that type of thing. And possibly instilling boundaries with people who have never even thought about it, who have never even contemplated asking you and being there for you. Maybe it means cutting off people who aren't there for you, who are simply just selfish. So maybe that's just kind of coming to the surface here. And yes, and with this Ace of Pentacles reversed, I don't know why I keep on wanting to go back to this, but Ace of Pentacles reversed, this just gives me the vibe of like something being too soon. Like it's almost like you tried to move on from something too soon. Like you didn't allow yourself the time to heal from something. You tried to just push it away, and you're like, okay, like it sucks that this happened, but I have other things to do. It's just that vibe. Like I have other things to do. I'll focus on this later, and then you just never get back to it. Like there was just like excuse upon excuse in terms of why you don't want to deal with this thing. And so it's like you brushed it under the rug way too quickly. And so that's coming up. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, we have opening to discovery. I love this because this really does remind me a lot of the moon card. What number is this? 34. So the number 7 may be significant to you in some way. You might be seeing a lot of 7s during Mercury retrograde. I don't know. 7 also to me has a lot to do with higher learning, and it has a lot to do with isolation and being very philosophical, being very analytical. It has a lot to do with introspection. So you might be doing a lot of introspection and reanalysis and reassessment during this time, which is good because that's all what Mercury retrograde is about. So that's great. And with the imagery here, I feel like this is you basically unlocking your subconscious. I feel like you are going to come to a lot of realizations, and I feel like you are going to come to especially the realization of certain patterns that you have been repeating throughout your life, possibly even realizing where this all started in the first place. How did this come to be in the first place? How did this pattern of being come to be in the first place? And I think that you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and it might be a little bit heavy, it might be a little bit overwhelming, but it's definitely something that you are very much capable of overcoming. And I feel like there is so much knowledge, there is so much that you can gain from the realizations that you end up making this retrograde, and from basically unlocking your subconscious and basically getting to better understand your subconscious. because it just feels like a lot of self-awareness is going to come to the surface, whether or not you like it. And I think that there are probably going to be a lot of things that you see about yourself that you don't necessarily like, that you're like, oh, I hate this is not who I am. And you might not think it is, but it might very well be a reflection of who you are. And that gives you the opportunity to change it, you know, to change what you don't like about yourself. So that's great. We love that for you. Next we have into me, I see. Okay, the number 8 might be significant to you. Again, this just seems like a lot of self-reflection. This just looks like a lot of seeing all of you, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And if there's anything that you don't like, then you very much have the option to make necessary adjustments. Granted, it's probably not going to be like an easy journey, right? Shadow work isn't necessarily easy, but it's definitely worth it in the end. And it just makes you a lot better of a person. It makes you grow into the person that you probably want to be. And it gives you a lot of wisdom. It gives you a lot of experience. And in general, it just gives you a lot of self-awareness, and it helps you. It gives you the opportunity to end cycles that are unhealthy for you. And it gets you one step closer to living a life that is a lot more fulfilling, that is a lot more joyous, that is a lot more, I guess, happy, if you will. So there's that. I just feel like you're getting a step closer to who you are as a person and seeing the beauty within you, but also the shadow parts of you and the things and the aspects that have become a part of you because of your past experiences and because of your upbringing and all of that. So there's that. And next we have tender embrace. So we have 22 or 4. That could be significant for you during this retrograde. That's great. That's cool. So tender embrace, I really love this card because I feel like this just really talks to me about being very compassionate for yourself. And I also feel like you might have other people who are going to be very compassionate with you. I also feel like this retrograde, you might meet someone, if you haven't already, if you already don't know this person, I feel like you're going to meet someone who becomes some sort of mentor to you, who is going to guide you through this whole self-awareness journey, through the whole shadow work journey. And they're going to help you see yourself in different ways. I feel like there's someone in your life who is going to make you question yourself a lot. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's just going to make you question like your patterns and question like why you do certain things. Where does this come from? I feel like they're gonna bring a lot of awareness to you. Maybe this person is older than you. They don't have to be, but with the elephants, I just get this vibe of like someone being very wise and very observant possibly, and passing down their knowledge and their experience onto you, and just guiding you and kind of helping you along the way and kind of teaching you new and different things and really pushing you to look at things from a different perspective. Again, like I said, making you question your identity, or not your identity, but making you question yourself and your patterns. And you know, the thing is like change can be really, really overwhelming. Change can be really scary, and especially when it comes to trying to become aware of your patterns and trying to break out of certain patterns, because when you are working to break out of those certain patterns, it's like you are breaking out of the thing that you know. You are breaking out of the identity that you have been attached to all these years. And like your identity, like that's your core. And no one wants to do that. No one wants to break away from that which is familiar to them. So of course it's going to feel very scary. And that is why so many people, I think, feel so tempted to stay in the patterns that they're in because it's familiar. Because even though, yes, it might really hurt, that hurt is almost like that's the cost that they pay for remaining in that which is comfortable. And that might be a cost that they are willing to pay, because by breaking certain patterns, it's like you're ripping yourself away from that which you know. And that which you know can also be like what makes up your identity. And no one really wants to break away from the things that they want, that they identify with, or that they have identified with for a really long time. So yes. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I get for you with that tender embrace card. Okay, next we have envy reversed, which is awesome. I really love that. I feel like this has a lot to do with you becoming a lot more grateful towards yourself. I wonder if for some of you, especially with this Queen of Pentacles, because sometimes the Queen of Pentacles here especially paired with these other cards, they can be someone who's a little bit superficial, someone who possibly compares themselves to other people, or kind of they do things for superficial reasons, surface level reasons, and that doesn't necessarily have to be like inherently bad thing, but it's just something that happens. And so I wonder if for some of you, you are breaking out of this comparison that you may have fallen into up until this point, just like, this person is better than me, this person has this and this and this, and so that's why I am inferior to them. I feel like you're breaking out of that thought pattern, or you are being forced to break out of that thought pattern, and especially with that envy card. So this to me just seems like a lot of gratitude, and it just seems of like you remembering and realizing what you already have. And also, I just feel like, and especially because it's right under opening to discovery, so I just feel like there's just this sense of gratitude and realizations of who you are and what you are capable of, and no longer focusing so much on what other people have or what other people are or what they project themselves to be, but you just coming to terms with the person that you are, with the skills that you have been blessed with the tools that you have, with the cards that you have been dealt, and you're like, okay, like, there's a lot that I can do with this. There's a lot that I can manifest from the tools, from the cards that I've been dealt. What can I do about that? That's kind of what that seems like. And also within, to me, I see, again, it's just like you're realizing your potential, and you're stepping out of this mindset of like, I've been doomed, or I've been set up for failure. Like, I feel like you're stepping out of that mindset, and you're realizing that you haven't been set up for failure. It might feel like that because of your possibly given circumstances, but you don't have to be that way. You don't have to stay in that scenario, if that makes sense. Like, there's just this sense of like empowerment, and you seeing how much you are capable of, whether or not you saw it before, you know? Okay. Next, we have action. Yes, so you basically taking a lot of action, taking a lot of initiative in terms of growing, in terms of questioning yourself, in terms of questioning your patterns, coming to a lot of awareness of like who you are and what choices you have made up until this point, that sort of thing. It just feels like once you make these realizations, life is probably going to start speeding up a little bit, and it's probably going to feel a little bit overwhelming, and you might feel like, oh my God, like I need a break, and, you know, take the breaks that you need that are necessary, but also try to keep up with the pace. And I feel like once you make that one realization, or once you kind of see this one thing that just finally clicks for you, a lot of stuff is finally going to fall into place, and you're just going to, and a lot more things are just going to make sense. You're like, oh, so that's why I do that. I feel like that's going to be something that you think of a lot this month of retrograde. And then we have man holding a heart reversed. So this basically literally talks about someone who's very emotionally disconnected from their feelings, from their heart, from their emotions, all of that. So this is you literally stepping out of that disconnect. This is you finally facing your emotions. This is you finally dealing with the things that you never wanted to deal with, the things that you may have repressed, whether you realize it or not, things that you haven't thought about in a really long time, patterns that you're not even aware of. That's literally what this is. Like, that's what it looks like. Retrograde might feel very overwhelmed, but at the end of the day, it's very much a blessing, because it looks like you are reconnecting with yourself, you are reconnecting with your feelings, with your emotions, and that might seem really overwhelming, and that might seem like, damn, like, why would I want to do that to myself? And it's like, you might think that ignorance is bliss, but at the end of the day, by continuing to repress emotions and by continuing to repeat past patterns, you know, that leads to delays, that leads to more setbacks. So, you know, ignorance might be bliss in the sense of like, damn, I wish I didn't know all of these things, because I don't want to work on them. I don't want to deal with all of this pain, you know, but at the end of the day, there's a delayed gratification of growth. There's a delayed gratification of wisdom and experience, and being able to pass down that wisdom to later generations if you ever choose to have a family. So there's that. Okay, and finally we have two last cards here. We have the jeweled web connectivity. Oh, I didn't say, so 20. Okay, so maybe the number 2 is significant to you. Maybe the number 8 is significant to you with the 17, and maybe the number, what is this, 9 is significant to you as well. So there's that. We have, what is this? That's 7, 8, 4, 2, 8 again, and then 9. And then another 9 here with the fucking eyes of the eagle rising above the fray. So another 9. So maybe the 9 is significant to you. It's completion. Maybe the number 8 is significant to you. That's abundance and karma and hard work and ambitions. That to me is also cycles, because the 8 is like infinity. So like breaking cycles. Jeweled web again with the number 5, connectivity, and then eyes of the eagle rising above the fray. Okay, so jeweled web. This to me basically talks about how everything is interconnected, right? This is, I feel like you're really being pushed okay, so when you go into introspection, right? This is the universe literally telling you to do the deep introspection that you don't want to do, and pushing you to see how literally everything is interconnected. Situations that you may not have ever thought were connected may very well be connected. What it kind of looks, it's like, again, a simple example would be like childhood, right? How your upbringing can influence the rest of your life. That's kind of what that looks like. So maybe there's just a lot of reflection on childhood here, but also this just looks like the universe telling you, like, look at how everything trickles down into the mundane. Look at how deeply rooted things come to the surface and impact your day-to-day life. Does that kind of make sense? Everything is interconnected. Everything is interwoven. There's always a reason for something. There's always a deeper reason for the reason for the reason. That's something that my best friend always says. There's always a reason for the reason for the reason, or something along those lines. And it's true. There's always a deeper truth that can be reached. So if you need a journal to journal about things, by all means, I think journaling might be really helpful for you, this retrograde, to basically keep tabs of all of the realizations that you are reaching, of all of the things, all of the knowledge that you will be learning, and that type of thing. And then we have eyes of the eagle rising above the fray. With this imagery here and eyes of the eagle, I just see a microscope is being placed on your life and on yourself. And I feel like you are being pushed to raise the microscope to yourself, and that might be really uncomfortable, because you're gonna have to look at details that you don't want to look at. You're gonna have to look at details that are pretty ugly, right? When things are kind of far away, you don't have to look at everything. You don't have to look at the details. But when you are looking at the details, you're like, oh shit, damn, and am I really like that? And it's like, yeah, you might be, but that, in knowing that and having that knowledge, you have the opportunity, you now have the power to be like, okay, well, do I want to change this? Is it impossible for me to change this? And more than likely, it's not impossible. And with that being said, you can then create a plan, you can create a strategy to work on breaking that pattern, to work on doing things differently. You don't have to do it alone, okay? I think it might be really helpful to find some sort of support group, whether it is with the people that you love and trust, or to find an actual support group, or to find some sort of free resources that are available to you that you can access that could really help you in the long run with this whole journey. So don't feel like you have to do anything alone. Try to find some sort of community that can help you and support you and really push you and possibly even inspire you or encourage you when you are going through all of this, because I can assure you it's probably not going to be easy, but very worth it in the end of the day. So there's that. That's what I have for you. Okay, great. So group 2, I hope this resonates with you. I hope you were able to get something out of this. And with that being said, I will talk to you later. Bye. Hello group 3, welcome to your reading. Obviously you chose this group, you chose the yellow aventurine. So let's get right into your reading. So first we have the High Priestess, we have the Emperor, so maybe you're dealing with an Aries, or you're dealing with a Pisces or a Cancer with that High Priestess card. We have the Lovers reversed, maybe you're dealing with a Gemini, or maybe that's you. And next we have the Root of Cups, otherwise known as the Knight of Cups. So what is happening for you this retrograde? It kind of seems as though relationships are on the forefront here, and there are kind of two extremes that I'm seeing. So for some of you, it may be that you have relationship troubles in the sense that you don't let other people get close to you, right? With this Emperor and with this Lovers reversed, I'm just getting a sort of disconnect of you possibly not getting close, you not letting people get close to you. Maybe you get scared of vulnerability. Maybe there's just this whole issue of like, I don't need anyone. I can do things on my own. I'm independent. I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone to be happy. You know what? And that's fine. You know, it's awesome that you can do things on your own, that you can be independent. But I wonder if for some of you, this is sort of taken to an extreme because people in your past have disappointed you. And so you kind of took on this mindset of like, I don't need anyone. I'm the person who can do everything in my life. I don't need to rely on anyone because there's this underlying thing of like, I can't rely on anyone. Does that kind of make sense? So I wonder if this retrograde is bringing that to the surface. For others of you, it could very well just be a whole thing of codependence where you kind of lose yourself in your relationships and you basically need to learn how to be independent, how to have boundaries, how to do things on your own, how to be your own person. Who are you outside of your relationships? That's the sort of thing that might be coming up for you this Mercury retrograde season, especially because from what I've seen and what I learned is that when Mercury goes retrograde, it'll be conjunct Venus and Gemini within a degree or something like that. So maybe relationship themes are coming up for some of you, or it may be coming up like in terms of values and things along those lines. So there's that. There's that. So that's the kind of vibe that I get. For some of you, with the whole, with the scenario of you feeling like you can't rely on other people, I feel like you might have some sort of love offering that comes to your table that I just feel like someone is going to try to simp for you, because with the Knight of Cups, that's literally a simp. So I feel like there's someone who's going to try to make a love offer to you. They might try to, take you out on a date. They might try to shower you with affection, with love. And at first you might be like, oh, like, I don't need this. This is weird. I don't like this. But I think it might be a really great experience for you. And I think it might be a really great learning experience for you. You know, obviously you can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you what to do. Obviously this is like a general reading, you know, take what resonates with you, leave the rest that doesn't. You have your own will. You can do whatever you want at the end of the day. So don't take this all with a grain of salt, okay? So there might be someone who is just trying to simp for you and you're like, I'm not having this. This is really weird. I can do everything on my own. I don't need this. I can buy myself my own flowers. I can buy myself my own chocolates. And it's like, you know, that's fine. But I feel like this Mercury retrograde is really trying to teach you how to let other people love you. Teaching you how to let people take care of you and cater to you. And it might be really uncomfortable at first, but I think that it's going to feel really nice, and I think it's going to kind of take a relief off of your shoulders. For others of you, or for some of you, should I say, I also feel like you might be receiving a lot of like downloads or something, or you might be receiving a lot of like information, like intuitive information with this High Priestess here. I feel like for some of you, maybe you're receiving premonitions about something. Maybe premonitions about a relationship in your life. Maybe your guides are trying to basically give you the green light in terms of this person who is trying to like simp for you, this person who is trying to cater to you and take care of you, who is kind of trying to take you out, take care, like to, what's the word? Who's trying to get close to you romantically or something along those lines, you know what I mean? So that's what I have there. So your guides might be there for you. And also I feel like with this High Priestess here, I feel like you were, with this whole experience and with everything here, I feel that your guides or the universe or your ancestors, whoever or whatever you believe in, are going to be there for you the whole step of the way. You were not alone in all of this, and I feel like you were going to be very protected throughout this experience because they know what you have been through, they know what you have experienced, and they know that you kind of have your guard up in that way. And so I feel like you are very much going to be guided and protected throughout this entire thing here. And it's really interesting too, because we have a lot of purple, and purple can signify your crown chakra. And it's interesting because one of the oracles actually is the crown chakra. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but I feel like there's a lot happening here in terms of interpersonal relationships, romantic relationships, and specifically. And that's really cool. That's really exciting. And I also feel that for others of you who might fall into the group of like possibly codependence or something along those lines, I feel that some of you may need to reconnect with your creativity and with what makes you happy. And you need to learn how to cater to yourself. You need to learn how to give back to yourself and how to not bend over backwards for other people, especially for those who don't deserve it. And I feel like with this high priestess here, you're not going to be given the option of giving someone the benefit of the doubt. If there's someone who's giving you a love, who's giving you like a love offer, or someone who is trying to, you know, kind of like butter you up and, you know, get you attached to them and all of that, maybe possibly even love bomb you or something. I don't know. If there's someone who is doing that and you have a gut feeling that they do not have good intentions with you, do not give them the benefit of the doubt. Listen to that intuitive feeling. Please, for the love of God, like do that, please. It's going to really benefit you, and it's probably going to save you a lot of grief in the end. And I feel that this Mercury retrograde is really going to teach you how to reconnect with yourself, how to reconnect with who you are as a person, who are you outside of relationships in general, that sort of thing. So next we have the Oracle's Gift, number 37. So again, I feel like the universe, your guides, your ancestors, whoever or whatever you connect with or resonate with, I feel like they're going to be giving you a lot of signs and synchronicities, and maybe about a person or about a situation that is going to give you a lot of insight, whether, you know, you fall on the side of extreme independence or fall on the side of like being possibly codependent or really needy in some way or another. I feel like you are going to receive a lot of insight about this. I also feel like if if you are someone who, like, you've been wanting a relationship, but you have been doing a lot of the work, you have been doing the inner work. For some of you, you might get some sort of inkling of that during this retrograde. But more so, I just get this vibe of like intuitive feelings, possibly some sort of premonition that you get during retrograde. If there's something that hasn't necessarily been making sense for you this before retrograde, I feel like there's something that's going to fall into place that is going to make a lot of sense, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's what this person wanted, or oh, that's what this thing means, something along those lines. So that's really cool. What is 37? That's 10. So 1 plus 0 is 1. So again, there's something with independence here, or with building up your identity, or, you know, this is you needing to learn how to let other people in rather than being so rigid and like being like, I can do this on my own type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And then we have beautiful uncaging. That's so cute. That's so sweet. Beautiful uncaging here. So this to me kind of looks like an opportunity of allowing yourself to let your guard down. For those who are like really independent, who have like, or like the extreme independence of like, I don't need anyone, blah, 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 and like not letting anyone in. I feel like Mercury retrograde is a really great opportunity for you to open up your heart a little bit, to allow yourself to be vulnerable and to possibly reflect as to how you got here in the first place. Why is your guard so high up in the first place? And I feel like you are going to learn to allow yourself to open up your heart, to let down your guard, and to, you know, make the effort to make genuine connections with people. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be long lasting, but kind of doing certain exercises that make you realize like, oh, like I'm very much capable of love. I'm capable of maintaining a healthy connection with someone, that type of thing. For others of you, this could just be freeing yourself from the idea that you have to be in love all of the time, that you have to be in a relationship all of the time, which is great. That's beautiful. I feel like you're going to kind of receive, not necessarily agency, but receive control over your heart again, and kind of be more discerning as to who you give your heart to. That kind of makes sense. And then we have a merry motive. So again, with this whole intuitive feeling thing, I feel like for some of you, you might be given a lot of synchronicities that someone actually does have good intentions with you. And they do want to take you out. They do want to take care of you. They do want to cater to you in some way, especially because the merry motive is right under the Knight of Cups, or the Root of Cups. So I feel like there is going to be this realization. I feel like you are going to be given signs that this is someone that you can trust, that this is someone that you can open up to. This is not a guarantee that it's going to be like long lasting. I can't guarantee that because like I don't know that. But there is just this vibe of like, you can open up to this person type of thing. And I also feel like for others of you, this Mary motive could also just be pushing you to reflect on what your intentions are in terms of entering a relationship in the first place. Why do you want to be in a relationship in the first place? Why would that fulfill you so much? Is there a void that you're trying to fill? Is there a wound that you're trying to put a band-aid over? What is it exactly here? And then we have cornucopia reversed. So this basically talks about setbacks, things that kind of prevent you from reaching full potential. And maybe you have just been feeling really frustrated, right? Maybe for some of you, in terms of fearing vulnerability, fearing opening up to people. Maybe you have tried dating people in the past, but it just didn't really lead anywhere. So I feel like you're going to come to a realization as to what those setbacks are. Are you possibly holding yourself back? Are you possibly getting in your own way? That type of thing. And for others of you who are kind of like relationship hopping and trying to find a relationship, and you're wondering why your relationships just aren't working, I feel like you're going to come to realize as to why they're not working, why things keep on falling apart after the first week or two or the first month or something. Like, what is the pattern that you might not have been seeing here? I feel like that's what cornucopia reversed is basically talking about. And right, we have 11, so that's 2 again with the number 2, and also with that Mary motive, that's 20, so 2 plus 0 is 2. And then High Priestess, that's also 2. So there's a lot of 2s, there's a lot of duality, there's a lot of things relating to relationships here. And so yeah, and then we have the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. So again, I feel like a lot of you this retrograde, there's some things that are just going to make sense. I don't know how else to say this, but I just feel like there's something in your life, maybe relating to relationships, that are just going to make sense. I feel like you're going to become so much more intuitive. I feel like you're going to become very discerning, like very, very discerning, because we have this High Priestess here and we have this owl. Like, I feel like you're going to receive a lot of downloads or something, or you're going to have premonitions, or you're just going to have this deep knowing, this deep intuitive knowing as to where something is going to go, or how something is going to happen, or whatever the case may be. And again, like, I just get this vibe of you feeling very connected to your guides, and your guides being there with you the entire way throughout this whole journey here. And I feel like for some of you, maybe you need to meditate, or journal, or do yoga, or do something that makes you feel connected to your guides, your angels, your spirit guides, the universe, whatever the case may be. And I feel like they're guiding you throughout this entire thing. They're guiding you throughout all of these realizations and guiding you throughout all of these setbacks. And I also feel like this is basically saying, like, all of these setbacks are for a reason. It's not just because, there's a reason behind all of this, and it's up to you to kind of figure it out. And I feel like they're also helping you figure out what the reasons are. You might be receiving a lot of synchronicities or something with books. Maybe there's a quote that you read that just makes a lot of sense. You might be receiving signs with books or with information, whatever the case may be, like just the books that you read or information that you read online. I don't want to say like online, because like algorithms, but there just might be words or information that just make a lot of sense to you. So there's that. And then we have victory. I love that. So I think by the end of the retrograde here, I feel like you're going to reach a deeper sense of peace, and I feel like you're going to feel a lot more victorious. Drink some water if you have some. I also feel like some of you are going, like, once you make certain adjustments in your life, certain just like changes, like things are going to fall into place, and things are going to feel a lot more victorious. Things are going to feel a lot more successful. And it's so interesting too, because we have cornucopia, right, which is the setback, and then we have victory at the end. So this is showing me that there's something that has to do with you listening to your gut feeling. Maybe this is you no longer giving someone the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this means you putting yourself first. Whatever the case may be, it's like putting your intuition first and allowing yourself to be divinely guided. When that happens, things begin to fall into place. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, things begin to fall into place. Things start moving, and you get to enjoy the cornucopia that you were supposed to enjoy in the first place. You get to reap the fruits of your labor type of thing. So there's that. Okay, so the 7th chakra, 4 plus 1, that's 5. So we have another 5 here. Maybe that's significant to you. And then 8 plus 2, that's 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So again, we have a lot of 1s here. So 1, 2s, and 5s. That's cool. So there's that, okay? And then next we have in the hand, the universe is your partner. Okay, so again, the universe is literally conspiring with you. They are conspiring in your favor. There's something about the universe, like working with you, trying to give you signs, trying to give you synchronicities, trying to use you as some sort of vessel in terms of like messages, trying to give you messages, just trying to communicate with you in some way. So pay attention to that. In the hand, it looks like they're handing you something. They're giving you some sort of offering, dude. I just feel like there's something about information that you are going to be receiving that is going to, it's going to be a catalyst for an awakening or for some sort of realization here. Or it's just going to make things a lot more clear in terms of what someone's intentions are. Okay. I also feel like for some of you, if you have been the type to ignore your intuition, just in general, it doesn't have to be relationship related. I feel like you're going to reconnect with your intuition, because I feel like for some of you, you feel like, oh, like I don't need the universe. I can't rely on the universe. The universe is never working in my favor. If you have taken on that mindset, I feel like this Mercury retrograde is going to show you that the universe is always working in your favor. And you are going to come to the realization that you don't have to do everything on your own. You are being guided, you are being protected, you are being watched over by your angels, your spirit guides, universe, whatever it is that you believe in. I feel like that's happening. And I feel like for some of you, you might be getting intuitive like signs or synchronicities on a creative project that you may need to work on. With that Knight of Cups. I don't know if I said that earlier. I don't remember if I said that earlier, but if I didn't, I'm saying that now. So you might receive a lot of ideas, a lot of inspiration that just kind of come out of the blue. It's because the universe wants you to do this thing. They want you to follow that path. And then we have gathering around 26, so the number 8 might be significant. We have the gathering around, power of the community. Again, I just feel like the universe is conspiring in your favor. They're literally helping you through some sort of maybe relationship issues. Maybe they're trying to teach you how to break out of your shell. Maybe they're trying to teach you how to break out of codependency. Maybe they're trying to teach you how to be vulnerable. Whatever the case may be, I feel like they're with you this entire way. And if you need help, don't hesitate to ask for help. Don't hesitate to communicate with your angels, with your guides, with the universe, whatever it is. I feel like you're going to receive a lot of downloads, and I feel like you need to open up your heart. That's what this retrograde is teaching you. I feel like that's what that's teaching you here. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just the vibe that I get. And I also feel like you might get closer to some loved ones. I feel like you might become closer to some loved ones. You might build a stronger bond with them. I feel like you might open up a little bit more to them, and they might be very helpful to you in some way throughout all of this. So yes, that is what I have for you, group. What is this, 3? I hope it resonates. I hope you were able to get something out of this, and that being said, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hello, group 4. Welcome to your reading. Obviously, if you chose this group, you chose the green aventurine worry stone, I believe it's called, or palm stone. I don't know. So let's get right into your reading today. Let's see what's going on with you. Please stop. Okay, so first we have the 2 of stones, otherwise known as the 2 of pentacles, right here. So you might be prioritizing something or needing to reprioritize things. We have the root of stones, otherwise known as the Knight of Pentacles. We have the harvest of cups, otherwise known as the King of Cups. And we have the flower of cups reversed, otherwise known as the Queen of Cups reversed. Alrighty, so Mercury retrograde is teaching you how to build a better ass. No, I'm just kidding. Mercury retrograde, it looks like this retrograde is teaching you a lot about how to balance your emotions. And for some of you, there might be a sort of issue maybe with your parents or something. It doesn't have to be your parents, but whenever I get the King and the Queen, I just think of parents. There's something here in terms of parents possibly for some of you. reprioritizing or rebalancing the relationship that you have with your parents. With this Flower of Cups reversed or the Queen of Cups reversed, maybe one of your parents is someone who is just like very emotionally needy or like codependent in some way or another, or maybe they require a lot of like emotional bonding with you or something, but maybe that drains you. And if that's the case, then maybe this is the time to begin implementing boundaries with this parent. So that might be a thing. I also feel like for some of you, this could be more so of just you rebalancing your emotions, because I just feel like there's this back and forth between emotional outbursts and then becoming very stoic and very cold and very like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, I don't actually care. Like, I feel like you kind of, what is the word? Vacillate? One of those things over there. I don't remember which I don't remember. But I feel like you go back and forth between being very emotionally cold and then being like just having a lot of emotional outbursts, taking everything very personal, thinking everything is like a personal attack to you or whatever the case may be. I feel like with that Two of Pentacles, this talks about emotional rebalancing. That's what this looks like here. Finding footing and stability with the way in which you process your emotions, the way in which you regulate yourself emotionally. Maybe this means that you find things that just help calm you down, whether this is journaling, whether this is yoga, whether this is talking to a friend of yours, whatever the case may be, or just becoming a lot more aware of like emotional outbursts, developing self-control in terms of emotional outbursts, and reflecting and discerning whether this is something worth being angry or mad about or hurt about or pained about, discerning whether someone actually had bad intentions or if there was just a miscommunication or a misunderstanding or something along those lines. And we have the Root of Stones, which basically talks about slow progress. It talks about doing like something that's like premeditated almost. Slow and steady wins the race. I feel like this is like learning how to be more slow with your reactions. And that's where the King of Cups comes into play here, because I just get this feeling that some of you may be really quick to have emotional outbursts. And I think I feel like this retrograde, there might, take this all with a grain of salt. If it doesn't resonate, that's fine. But I feel like this retrograde, there might be a point where your emotional outburst bites you in the ass, or it might backfire on you. And that's going to teach you how to be more mindful of your emotional reactions to people and of the way in which you treat people when you are feeling very emotionally overwhelmed. I feel like that's what that is. That's what that is over there. It's teaching you how to be a lot more emotionally, I guess, diplomatic or observant of your emotions and of the way that you feel. Why do you feel the way that you feel? Why do you feel offended? Is this person trying to offend you? That type of thing. And I feel like there's just a lot of like teaching you how to be calm under emotionally stressful situations, which, is obviously easier said than done, but very much possible. So I think that is a journey that you are going to start this Mercury retrograde, and progress might be slow, progress might be a little bit tedious, but very much worth it. I just get this vibe of like you needing to learn how to not react so impulsively and how to like not give into like emotional impulses, to think before you do, to think before you speak type of thing, because these emotional outbursts might actually get you into trouble in the long run, where the damage is almost like irreversible. So there's that to consider. Okay. So we have the Divine Matrix 44. Maybe the number 44 or the number 8 is significant to you in some ways or another. This to me kind of just looks like as a message of you needing to learn how to let go of control. Maybe that's where the Queen of Cups reversed is coming into play, where you want to kind of like you're coddling everything. You're trying to be in control of everything. You're trying to be there for everyone. You're trying to mother everything. But in doing that, you become very smothering. So I wonder if for some of you, this rebalancing that needs to take place is like you needing to know when to step back, you knowing your place, you being reminded of what your place is, and knowing when to knowing not to overstep boundaries. That's what that looks like. And with the Divine Matrix here, this kind of just looks like knowing when to let go of something, and letting things unfold as they are rather than trying to be in control of a situation. Maybe you have become very fixated on a certain outcome or wanting things to be a certain way, and that gets you very emotionally overwhelmed or very emotionally riled up. And I think that kind of either burns you out or it kind of discourages you from doing anything. So I feel like this Mercury retrograde is going to teach you how to slow down and how to not think so far ahead into the future and let your anxiety get the best of you. I also feel like with this Two of Pentacles here, this is basically kind of teaching you or reminding you of like what needs to be a priority and what doesn't need to be a priority. What do you need to be focusing on and what can wait for later? And with this Knight of Pentacles here, this is basically like looking at the bigger picture. And doing things step by step and kind of focusing on a larger goal rather than focusing so much on instant gratification. And this also talks about kind of allowing yourself to enjoy the journey rather than focusing so much on when you are going to reach the end. I feel like this Mercury retrograde is going to teach you a lot about just going with the flow and letting things happen as they need to, rather than trying to, like I said, control an outcome, trying to speed up an outcome possibly, because I feel like in trying to speed up an outcome, you become emotionally overwhelmed and it doesn't help you. If anything, it just discourages you. And so I feel like there's like the sense of peace. Like you get a sense of peace in knowing, or you will learn to get a sense of peace in knowing that things will work out in your favor. You're in your favor in one way or another, whether or not you see it immediately. And then we have Birds of a Feather, 25. So the number 7 might be significant to you in some way or another. Birds of a Feather. This to me kind of just reads as community. This could be just also a reminder to you that you don't need to be doing everything on your own. You can always reach out to people who are similar to you and who can help you and give you advice whenever you are feeling emotionally overwhelmed. Excuse me. Birds of a Feather. I also feel like for some of you, maybe you are meeting or coming, or maybe you are going to encounter a community who is like-minded and who is very similar to you and who can give you advice. Maybe they have also gone through similar things as you, and maybe they're going to help you kind of calm down or something along those lines. Maybe there's a support group that you're going to join that is going to give you a lot of perspective. Also with this card here, this reminds me a lot of the phrase, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I wonder if you are going to become a lot more aware of how you might be repeating patterns from your parents, or repeating patterns from grandparents, or from the people in your life, from your environment. And when you become aware of that, I feel like there is going to be this sense of like, I know I don't want to be like these people in my life. I don't want to be a product of this, if that kind of makes sense. And so I'm going to be doing something differently. I wonder if that's something that is going to come through for you this retrograde. And then we have a deep breath. Yes, ma'am. So Mercury retrograde is definitely teaching you how to slow down. I wonder, with that Knight of Swords, it's teaching you how to slow down, bro. And also with that 7 again. So we have 44, or the 8, right? And then 7 and 7. So again, that's like deep analysis, that's introspection, that's isolation, that's solitude. I feel like this retrograde, you're being pushed into solitude, being pushed into take time alone, because I feel like for some of you, maybe you're like a little bit of a workaholic here, and it's not working out for you. It's not helping you at all. So I feel like this retrograde is really pushing you to slow down. And that's awesome, honestly, because we have storm warning, which is a 10 that can reduce to a 1. So I feel like this is literally a warning that if you don't slow down, you are going to crash and burn. that's kind of what that is. Is you are somehow going to hurt yourself by trying to push yourself to the very edge, to the very brink of work and all of that. And I feel like this is really to say, like, listen, whatever outcome you want to achieve, you will get it. And you don't need to be working all of the time. You don't need to be pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, because you are going to overwork yourself. You are going to burn yourself out, and then you're not going to have the motivation. You're not going to have the energy to finish, to get to the finish line, because you're just so tired. And you possibly end up feeling defeated, or whatever the case may be. So that's your warning. Like, slow down, bro. Please, I swear to God. Stop while you're ahead. That's what this reminds me of. Stop while you're ahead. Okay, and then we have the sun reversed. I feel like for some of you, you've identified with your work so much that you don't know who you are outside of work. And I think this retrograde is going to teach you that you aren't so much more than your work and then your endeavors. Maybe some of you need to become a lot more in tune with your emotions, and maybe that's what the Two of Pentacles here is talking about, is that you've neglected your emotional self for your work self, and that you need to rebalance that. You need to reprioritize your shit. You need to fix your priorities right now, is what it looks like. And then we have Angel of Love reversed, which literally talks about you, like this to me just feels like a lot of self-neglect. It feels like a lot of you possibly just, both of these cards feel like a lot of like possibly just feeling really down in the dumps, feeling just really sad and gloomy because you were not catering to yourself. There's a lack of self-care. You're not connecting to your inner child. You haven't been catering to your inner child. I feel like a lot of you really need to take a step back and to meditate and to stop while you are ahead so that things don't end up getting worse. And, you know, just you burning yourself out to the point that you possibly physically harm yourself in some way. I feel like this retrograde is really pushing you to just come at peace, to reach peace in some way, okay? To do some kumbaya shit. I feel like you need to be catering to your inner child. I don't remember if I just said that, but if I didn't, then there's that. You need to be catering to your inner child. You need to be catering to self. You need to be focusing on self a lot more this time around, right? We have the number 1 once again. You need to stop putting your needs in the back burner. And then again with the whole Angel of Love, like self-love is definitely very important right now. You need to be catering to yourself, to your emotions, making space for yourself, all that good stuff. This retrograde. And I feel like if you don't really, oh my god, fucking Mercury is fucking with me, bro, because my shit stopped filming and then I had to take like a half hour to try to clear up space on my phone so that I could fucking film the rest of this. So hi, hello. We're back. So let's just get right into it. We have 2 cards left. I'm just gonna get comfy because I'm annoyed. So finally we have closing door, completion here, and then we have the net caster, preparations come to fruition right here as your final advice, as your final as our parting message for this reading for Mercury retrograde. And it looks like with this closing door, Spirit is really pushing you to close the door on things, people, situations in general that just drain you of your energy. I kind of feel this vibe of you needing to learn when to close your door on people. And it might feel like, I don't want to close my door on people. I want to, you know, welcome all. I want to be able to help everyone. I want to be there for everyone. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. I want to take on this opportunity. I want to take on that opportunity. And that's awesome. You know, you want to do all of the things, but at the same time, that lack of regulation, that lack of boundary, if you will, it's what's burning you out. It is what is really stopping you from progressing. And I think in trying to do all of these different things at once, you're not able to properly focus on the things that are in front of you and on the things that you do want to pursue, which leads to further lack of progress. And so it kind of just seems as though there's this need to discern when to open your door, when to close your door, when to instill a boundary, and when to be open to giving your energy. Excuse me. And then we have the net caster, right? So this to me, it kind of just looks like you getting caught up in your own net of wanting to do all of these things at once, possibly wanting to be there for different people at once. And it's just not really working out for you. But also with preparation comes to fruition. This could just kind of looks like, you know, like you need to close your door at one point or another so that you can enjoy whatever is coming your way in the first place. Because I feel like if you keep on letting new things in and in all of the time, like you don't allow yourself time to focus on what you want to do, on what you want to focus on. You know what I mean? Like, you're so scattered all over the place, and that's why we have that Two of Pentacles here in terms of reprioritization. Like, you need to basically reprioritize your things. You need to fix your priorities. Oh my god. If it's not one thing, it's another, bitch. Oh my god, I swear to god. But that's basically what I have for you, group. What is this for? I hope this resonates. I hope you were able to get something out of this. And with that being said, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hello, group 5. Welcome to your reading. Of course, if you chose this pal, you chose the Dalmatian Jasper. So let's just get right into your reading, shall we? Let's see what you've got here. We have the Root of Wands reversed, otherwise known as the Knight of Wands reversed. We have the Three of Wands reversed. We have the Wheel of Fortune reversed. And we have the Six of Wands upright. We love that. We stand that. Okay, cool stuff. So there's a lot of wands here. There's a lot of fire energy, a lot of intensity, a lot of passion, a lot of movement, possibly a lot of burning out. What it kind of looks like for you, group 5, and it's similar to group 4 that I just finished. It kind of looks like Mercury Retrograde is really pushing you to slow the fuck down. That's what that looks like here. Because with this Knight of Wands reversed, I see kind of like you impulsively getting into things, but not having the capability to fully commit to it, or not wanting to fully commit to it, whatever the case may be for you. Maybe there is this thing of wanting instant gratification, right? With that Three of Wands reversed, you know, you want instant results. You want a quick, what is that thing that people say? A get rich quick scheme type of thing. Maybe that's something that you want. Maybe you are looking for instant gratification. Maybe you impulsively get into things because you're like, oh, like this will be an easy fix. I'm going to get money really quick from this, or I'm going to get fame really quick from this, or whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you are wanting. Right? And then with that Wheel of Fortune, it doesn't end up working out for you. It doesn't do anything for you. Things fall apart. You know, you are met with constant and frequent delays. Maybe you end up losing interest. Maybe you end up burning yourself out, whatever the case may be. And so with the Six of Wands upright with the imagery here, I wonder if the spirit is basically telling you, like, you need to slow down and you need to look at the bigger picture. You need to pay attention to the details. You need to be doing something here. You need to be doing something differently in order to warrant different results, because I feel like you keep on doing the same thing over and over again with that Wheel of Fortune reversed, and it's not working. So you need to think of a different approach. You need to come up with a different thing. That's maybe you're like maybe you're a workaholic, but more so what this just kind of looks like is you get really excited whenever you find something that is moderately interesting, and then you just dive in head first, and you're like, I want to do this. This is my new purpose. This is my new career. And then you dedicate everything to this thing, but there isn't really any sort of planning. There isn't really any sort of strategy. And you get fixated, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, like I'm not really into this. Maybe you are met with one setback and you're like, oh, like I don't want to do this anymore, this is too hard, and then you give up and you move on to the next thing, and the cycle continues. So Mercury Retrograde could be really teaching you how to better regulate that, how to better deal with that, and it's teaching you to look at the bigger picture, to basically plan better, to strategize better, to look at the bigger picture, like I just said, and to not let setbacks discourage you. You know what I mean? Maybe there's this fear of failure, and whenever you are met with a setback, you're like, oh my god, I'm going to fail at this thing, and so you run off and do the next thing. So this could be a reminder for you that, you know, setbacks are prone to happen. They're going to happen no matter what. They're going to happen with whatever field you choose to follow. So do something that you are into and stick to it, no matter what setbacks you are met with. Those setbacks are built to build they're built to teach you resiliency. Does that kind of make sense? They can teach you a lot about yourself. They can teach you a lot about your approach. They can teach you a lot about how to better deal with something, if you so choose to look at it that way, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what that looks like here. So next we have body and soul. This to me literally talks about self-care, needing to better take care of yourself. It literally looks like you are burning yourself out trying to do all of these things at once, or trying to do a get rich quick scheme or something, and you are just burning yourself out. There's a lack of focus here. It's, you know, with the fire, right? Like, it's an uncontrollable wildfire here that it ends up really overwhelming you. And that's not what we're doing anymore. All right, we need to do a different thing. We need to come up with a different approach here. All right, because you're tiring yourself out, and we don't like that. We need energies, we need motivation, we need encouragement, we need reassurance. All right. So yeah, I feel like Mercury retrograde is basically teaching you to slow down. Better self-care is definitely necessary here. There's also, I think there is this sort of reevaluation as to what you are doing and why you are doing it. Are you doing it because it makes you happy, or because you think it's going to get you rich, or because you think it's going to get you fame, or because you think it's going to make other people happy? Do you think it's going to make you look good to other people? What is the intention behind all of this? I think that's a really important thing to think about. Because we have body and soul, and so that reminds me of body, mind, and soul. So we have the body and soul part, but where's the mind? I feel like your mind is elsewhere. You want something different. Maybe you're doing things that are seemingly nice, that may seemingly benefit you in the long run, but maybe it's not something that you are truly into, type of thing. Also, I could just get this vibe of you being in one place, but your mind is in another. Like you are constantly on the move, trying to find a new innovative thing to do, and the new thing that you want to do, the new thing that you want to partake in, but you are draining yourself in doing that. I feel like there's a lack of presence here. Maybe you are thinking way too far into the future, and that is working against you. And so this Mercury retrograde could really be an opportunity for you to basically be present, to learn how to be present, to take things step by step, to not plan so far ahead and not get so overwhelmed by the future. And maybe that's a thing that happens for you too with that Knight of Wands and the Three of Wands reverse, is that you get really excited to do something, and then you get so far ahead into the future that you're like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. I don't know if I'm going to be able to accomplish this thing. I don't know if I'm capable of doing this. And so you give up and move on to the next thing. And it's like, bro, of course you're not going to feel capable of doing something when you are literally thinking a million steps ahead, when you should just be focusing on the step that is literally right in front of you. You know what I mean? So that could be a lesson that you were learning this Mercury retrograde. And then we have shining through 30 that reduces to a 3. So maybe the number 5 is significant to you. Maybe the number 3 is significant to you. And also with that Three of Wands, is that. So shining through. This to me kind of looks like Mercury retrograde is really encouraging you to do the things that you want to do things that make you happy and that fulfill you, rather than doing the things that make other people happy or that you think would make you look good. Don't worry so much about impressing other people or something along those lines. I get this vibe of like non-conformity. I feel like it's time to kind of step out of your bubble or step out of your shell and to just do things that you want to do things that make you happy. And with this Knight of Wands reversed also, like I keep on going back to this, but I just get this sense of restlessness with this card. Like you are so restless because you are on this constant journey of trying to find the things that make you happy, of pursuing things that make you happy. But I feel like you are chasing after the wrong things, or things that you're not actually all that interested in. You're chasing after things that maybe look good at first, or maybe that you think that would make you look good or something along those lines. But with this Six of Wands here, I feel like this retrograde is really going to make you realize what it is that you want to do. I just get a sense of freedom with this card. There's a sense of freedom and like, again, like this non-conformity type of thing. Like you are going to stop facing so many setbacks once you stop conforming, and once you stop doing things to impress others or to please others or to impress them in some way or another. I feel like you're going to realize what it is that you want to do. And if you already know what you want to do, you're going to make steps towards that thing. Why am I doing this? That's so funny. But yeah, I just get this sense of like blossoming and finally putting that restless feeling to use, if that kind of makes sense, in the sense that you just finally do the things that you want to do. You stop repressing the things that your desires for certain things, and you just finally follow your desires and your wants, even if it means you end up outshining other people. Maybe there has been a fear of you outshining other people, and maybe you have dimmed yourself down because you never wanted to make someone feel inferior. But at the end of the day, like if they feel inferior, that's their problem. That has nothing to do with you. And I feel like you have tried to do things that kind of please other people in the sense that they feel good knowing that they are somehow above you, but no more with that shit. I don't want that anymore. I feel like you have been selling yourself short and not giving yourself enough credit, and dimming yourself down to make other people happy. And we're not doing that anymore because this is your life. We're not worried about others, you know? So there's that. And then finally here we have 10 that reduces to a 1, and we have close encounters. And I love the imagery of this because the big butterfly is caged in, and there's like a little butterfly, you know, kind of sitting there. And what this really reminds me of is what I just said, is like, you are staying in this cage. You are caging yourself in, doing things that don't necessarily please you, that don't necessarily fulfill you, because it makes the other butterflies around you happy. You know, the smaller ones that might not necessarily be all that. I mean, all butterflies are fucking cute. But like, it just feels like you have so much to offer. You have so much more to offer to this world and to yourself. But you are not engaging in these things because other people want to feel better about themselves. Like, it's an ego trip type of thing. And it's like, no more with that, dude. Like, free yourself from this cage. You are not just someone who is meant to be put on display. You are not someone who is meant to just be watched or whatever. Like, you are this big ass butterfly. You need to be free. You know what I mean? You need to be free. Like, stop trying to trap yourself. That's kind of a vibe with the Three of Wands as well. The Three of Wands reverse is like self-imposed boundaries, self-imposed restrictions, you caging yourself in. And with that Knight of Wands reverse, maybe that is the fear of independence, the fear of breaking free. Maybe for some of you, you've just been so scared of taking a risk. Maybe you've been so scared of the unknown. Maybe that's what that is, especially with that Wheel of Fortune reverse. It's like some of you have tried to control the outcomes in your life, tried to control every single bit of your life, every single detail of your life, and that just isn't working for you right now. That's just not how, it's not working. It's not working anymore. You need to be doing more. So, oh my God, okay, anyways. So that's kind of what this looks like. And so Mercury retrograde is almost kind of like a coming to, what's that word? Coming of age type of thing. I just feel like this Mercury retrograde is also just going to teach you how to let loose, how to let go of control, how to go with the flow type of thing. Because right now it just feels like you're not going with the flow. And you need to be doing that right now. Okay, thank you. We have Door to Romance reversed. This to me just looks like a lack of self-love. It looks like a lack of catering to yourself. You have been catering to other people for who knows how long. And it's not working out for you. And so this card reverse, a Door to Romance reverse, this is literally pushing you and telling you that you need to be focusing on yourself. And this is, what is this, 33? So master number 33. Maybe the number 6 is also significant to you, 33 or 6. Maybe the number 5 is significant to you, the number 3 as well, or the number 1 with the Close Encounters card. But yeah, this looks like a lack of self-love, and you possibly losing yourself in other people, you possibly doing all of these favors for other people for who probably wouldn't even do the same for you. And also you, again, like, you're not catering to yourself. You're not doing things that make you happy. You're doing things that make other people happy. And it's interesting too, because we have the caged heart once again. So you are locking up your own desires for other people. You are locking yourself up to please other people. And it's like, girl, we're not doing that anymore. We're not caging ourselves up. We are not dimming ourselves down. We are not hiding ourselves for other people. Because for why? They wouldn't do the same for us. Probably not. Like, be selfish. There's nothing wrong with being selfish, because that means that you have your own self-interest at heart, and that means that you ensure your own survival. Of course, you know, things can be taken to extreme, but I'm saying, like, in general, selfishness isn't an inherently bad or wrong thing. And then we have Door to Personal Healing and Happiness, 34. So what is that, 7? Maybe the number 7 is significant to you in some way, and it's reversed. So this is literally talking about how you keep on finding delays, you keep on experiencing delays because you are not offering yourself the help and the space to be yourself, to do things on your own. For others of you, this could just be like you are overworking yourself. I just get this vibe of you possibly overworking yourself and delaying your own blessings because you were just trying to work and not necessarily like do anything else. You're like so fixated on trying to get to a certain outcome that it's just like not working out for you. And we need to change that. We need to do something different for that. Personal healing and happiness. Yeah, you're making other people happy. You're putting other people's needs first, other people's wants and desires first, and that's just not, that's not a vibe. Sorry. Like it's almost as though you are closing the door to your own blessings. You're getting in your own way type of thing. And also for those of you who are overworking yourselves, for those of you who kind of have what I was mentioning earlier about like jumping from one thing to another, this is kind of further confirming that and showing me like you are going to continue reaching these setbacks or experiencing these setbacks until you actually come up with a certain plan or a strategy on how you want to approach these things. So there's that. And next we have, finally, we have rest and rejuvenation. So yeah, Mercury retrograde is literally a time for rest and rejuvenation for you. So that you can reassess, reanalyze. 1 + 9, that's a 10. So again, the number 1 could be significant to you in some way. It just looks like reanalysis, and it just looks like you need to stop being such a workaholic. Maybe that's a thing for some of you, but yes, reconnecting with the inner self, reconnecting with your intentions, why you want to do certain things, why you want to pursue certain things, who do you want to be, what do you want to be, and why do you want to be that person? Is that actually what you want to do, or is there something here that we're not facing, or that we're not talking about, or that we're not admitting? I think is a better word. Yeah. So that's what retrograde is gonna, it's like, it literally kind of feels like for some of you it could be that romantically doors are closing. Like it just looks like different aspects of your life or different doors in your life are closing because they are literally pushing you to rest and to rejuvenate and to heal your body, to reconnect with your body. It looks like you've been so fixated on trying to do all of these things at once that things just start closing. Like that's so funny. I mean, that's not funny, but that's wild. I just get the vibe of like, oh, you don't want to rest? Okay, fine, no relationships for you. Oh, you don't want to rest, you don't want to sleep, you don't want to meditate? Okay, cool. I'll close this opportunity for you. I'll give this opportunity to someone else. That type of thing. I feel like the universe is gonna continue doing that until you finally stop and give yourself the rest that you need. So keep that in mind. And then we have 15, which reduces to a 6. Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation. Dust Devil, I love that. Moving out of stagnation. Yeah. For those who have been very stuck, if you have already been experiencing all of these setbacks, right? I feel like a lot of this has to do with the fact that you need to, like, first you need to rest. I feel like moving out of stagnation is going to come from rest and rejuvenation, and so that your mind is a lot clearer, so that you can begin to strategize and plan things out and change up your approach. Once you feel a lot more connected to yourself, to your body, to the present, things will start making a lot more sense, and you will be able to kind of navigate out of this period of stagnation and setbacks, and you'll be able to reopen these doors. That's so funny. I really feel like the universe is like, oh, you don't want to do this? Okay, fine, bet. Like, I'll close this. That's fucked up. Moving out of stagnation. Yeah, I just feel like some of you are being pushed out of this cycle of like this restless feeling of trying to do all of these things at once, or pursuing things that you think are gonna get you a quick result. That is something that you are breaking out of. For sure. And then we have, what is this? Sky Bridge, possibility for union. This to me just gives me the vibe of you reconnecting with yourself and you, possibility for union. Yeah, I just get the vibe of like you reconnecting with yourself, of bridging the gap of like where you are now versus who you want to be, or like what you want to do, or something along those lines. There's something about bridging a gap here. like maybe reaching some sort of compromise with yourself. Okay, so maybe, yeah, that's moderation. I get like temperance vibes from this almost. Reaching a sense of moderation, like some sort of like compromise with yourself. Okay, so this could be the whole thing of you learning healthier boundaries in terms of your work and in terms of the projects that you take on. Maybe this means learning how to discern when you, like discerning how much you can take on and not going past that limit, not going past that boundary. That's that kind of vibe that I get here with that sky bridge thing of like learning, like compromising with yourself. It's like you can have the best of both worlds for some of you. Like if you want to be a workaholic, oh my god, my shit is fucking up again. Okay, but if you want to be a workaholic, then like I guess no one can really stop you. But I guess find a way, a productive way of instilling boundaries with yourself. So that you can work, but that you're not overworking yourself. But then I guess that if it's supposed to be a workaholic. But anyways, find a way where you can fulfill your need of working, but not overwhelming yourself and overworking yourself to the point of literally like working yourself to the bone type of thing. So that's kind of what I have for you here at group 5. Possibility for union. I don't know. I keep on looking at the sun. So maybe some of you are like a Leo or something. But I just get compromise from this. Compromise with yourself so that you can rejuvenate your energy. And I feel like once you do that, you're going to feel a lot more creative and you're going to have a lot more ideas that you want to act on. I also get this vibe of no longer caring what people think. So, yes. That's what I have for you, group 5. I hope that resonates. I hope you were able to get something out of this. So with that being said, I will talk to you later. Bye.